Hey guys, what's up? Cell here for another gameplay commentary video, and today we're taking a look at Thomas Happ's Axiom Verge. So this is what people would call a Metroidvania. I personally like to call it a action platformer game. I don't know. It's more Metroid than it has anything to do with Castlevania. There are things that you're picking up and collecting, but very much after finding secret areas and boss battles, so it's much more Metroid-like in that vein. This game is a side project that he started in 2009. He works for a major studio, I think it's EA, but don't quote me on that. And so this is just a labor of love for him. He also worked, I believe, on one Game Boy Advance game that was also very similar to Metroid called Oron, or O-R-N, if I remember right. And so this is very similar in that vein. So in this game you play the character Trace, and you have a biomechanical gun, and you're just going around shooting the baddies and trying to figure out what's going on. And it has some pretty epic boss fights and areas to go back, and of course, like in this vein of Metroid, you're going back and checking out a lot of areas that you couldn't get to before because you need to have like a power-up or something like that. This is just a pretty damn cool take on that style game like Metroid. It even has some weird things that are kind of a carryover in a way, where you actually like have to hold one of the bumper buttons down on your controller to stay still while you go in a diagonal direction to shoot or something like that. But it's a very solid game. I like it a whole lot. You can find this on PS4 and PS Vita right now, as well as Steam. It might be on other services like Origin, I don't know, but I know on Steam it is available on Windows, Mac, and Linux. This will also be showing up later this year on Xbox One and Wii. Sometime, they just said middle of 2016, so I assume sometime this summer. Okay, so I wanted to do this video as sort of like a thank you to a couple of people out there, and thank you to you guys for supporting Final Save Point and whatnot. It really helps. I wanted to clarify what we're trying to do this year and let you guys in on sort of the inside here. But first of all, I want to give a shout out to a user out there, Crafty Hack. A guy really helped me out. He knew I was kind of struggling getting content and stuff out with the current setup I have. I had currently an i5-4590, and we struck up a deal. He had a mini ITX machine that, quite frankly, was running too hot for the system he was trying to build, and I had a i5 that would have fit that. So we did a pretty awesome trade. Obviously, I got the better end of the deal there. So Crafty, thank you very much for that, because the i7-4790K is doing awesome, and I can finally do like streams that look semi-decent off the CPU and whatnot. I have to do some weird stuff like quick sync or something like that. It worked perfectly fine with quick sync, but a lot of times it could cause issues or something or whatnot. So it really helped me out an awful lot, and I just want you to know that I appreciate that. He also sent some other things over that I'll probably be doing a video on here and there, so we'll be checking that out. Okay, so let's talk about the direction Final Save Point's going. I've done a lot of jobs in my life. I've never had any that I would say I was like almost addicted to or wanted to get up and do every day. This has been the first time that I've kind of run into that, so finding that means a lot to me. Unfortunately, I don't have a background in video production or anything like that. I don't have any kind of like inside track on getting into any kind of other channel or something like that with like help editing or shooting video or something like that. So to A, get experience, and B, to start my own thing, I really wanted to do Final Save Point. I didn't want to do something like everybody else was doing. I didn't want to be a copy of somebody else, although you kind of have a hard time getting away from that when everybody else is trying something similar to you. My idea for Final Save Point at the end of the day was, Final Save Cast, first of all, we're bringing that back on Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be me and Joe. Next week we're going to try to bring up the production quality, use Skype instead of Google Hangouts. Some of you guys said you just don't like the way it looks and whatnot. So I will try to do that and see how it goes. I wanted to try to use Google Hangouts because I wanted to make it almost call-in and have you guys come in and join the chat, you know, come in and whatnot. But right now the viewership's not there for that particular show, so that's gonna have to wait until the future or something like that. The other thing I'm looking to do is more events. I would like to go to bigger events like QuakeCon and stuff in the future, but that's just not possible right now. There's a few issues. Right now, this year, monetarily, personally, I'm hurting and don't have a whole lot of money to throw into the channel. So that means I have to pick events around me. So this year, I went to Land Syndicate, and to be honest with you guys, I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for the charity of Tech Syndicate. Full disclosure, they actually helped find me a place to stay overnight. They did a lot to help get me there or get me back in that sense or whatnot. So if it wasn't for Logan and Jenny and all those guys over at Tech Syndicate, I would not have been able to cover that event. It would have been impossible for me this year. The other one I'm looking forward to is, thanks to some friends, I've got a cheaper way into PDX land this year, so I'll be going back and covering that. And I want to do events that are more centered around gaming and not something so much like E3 or something like that where they're showing off games, because honestly I play a lot of indie games, but B, to me, it's more about talking to the community and not some PR rep. Having said that, I do hope to do more stuff in that style this year as well. I'm going to start bugging indie developers and stuff and see if we can get like interviews or something to that effect, because especially for the smaller guys, I'm really not interested in AAA. They have plenty of stuff out there to kind of help cover their games and whatnot. So games that I find interesting coming up or maybe already have been out, I would like to get like interviews with those guys and kind of pick their brain, because I think they have some really interesting things to say on game development and whatnot. And hopefully you guys like that kind of thing. And I would like to do more things with the community. I just don't know what that is right now. But one thing I am definitely doing this year is I'm going to be putting a donate button both on YouTube and one on Twitch, if not a Patreon, and that's where I want your guys' feedback. Is it better for me to do a Patreon and try to cover it that way? And it's just up to you guys if you want to give anything to help the channel out. Trust me, it is not going to waste, because like every cent will be spent. I will try to bring more gameplay commentary like this, you guys. Depends on the game. I'm starting to have some issues recording higher end stuff. It's not hitting even 30 frames, so it's hard to record. But follow me on Twitter at Cell Processing. Follow Joe at Joe Shorten. I'll put the links down below, and I will see you guys later.